not yourself today, Greg.
I don't want to.
You're not yourself.
I don't want to live in this world. I don't want to watch those.
15 seconds.
Yes, y'all. It is DCTF Live, doing the internet show thing again for you, our favorite people. My name is Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. I'm sitting at one desk in this room. There are two desks in this room, though. That's important to note, because there is somebody sitting at the other desk, and that person is Max Thompson. Hey, Max.
Hi, Greg.
How are you?
I am much better than you, apparently. You're having a rough day.
We'll talk about that in a moment.
You're having a rough day, Greg.
This is Thursday, February 18th, 2016, episode number 7676, the number of plate appearances for Thad Bosley as a Ranger. That's a former hitting coach for the Rangers, if I remember correctly. Let me
that is. I'm glad I know that.
Let me make sure. That's
We're all excited to know that.
I'm doing this thing. And hitting coach for 1 year, and he was fired midseason. So things going well with Thad Bosley.
It's just that kind of day for you.
It really is. So we are DCTF Live. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the state of Texas. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes so you don't ever miss an episode of DCTF Live. A little bit later, we're going to be joined on the phone by the new coach of the Odessa Broncos. It is Danny Servance, and it's an interesting scenario he's in that I want to ask him about. He's coaching Odessa High.
Indeed he is.
So the Broncos.
Yeah, and he's back home in Odessa.
Sure,
where
back
he's from.
Home. Right. Except there is the whole thing that he went to and played for Odessa Permian.
He's a mojo man.
Wonder how that is working out for him. We will talk to him about all those things and all things about his move from Lubbock Estacado to Odessa coming up here in a little bit. And a little bit in a little bit we're going to talk about the new 11-team district.
Oh Lord.
There's an 11-team district in Texas high school football. We will we'll sort all that out in a bit.
There's a district with more teams than the Big 12.
So I don't want to live in this world anymore.
I have noticed you have had just a very despondent, unhappy morning.
Despondent's a good word. I am despondent. There's a number of things I want to get off my chest.
About 5 minutes before the show started, you suggested we just pick up and move it to like a beach somewhere permanently.
It doesn't help that, like, a week ago today, I was about to get on a plane and go to the beach.
You've been influenced.
Sure.
So
there's a couple of things. First of all, we posted a story yesterday on TexasFootball.com.
And here's the thing. You have been so out of it this morning that I had forgotten this is where it all starts.
This is where it starts.
Well, here we go.
We posted a story. It was the top 10 toughest districts in Texas. And the way we did it was we took every district, and obviously things changed now with an 11-team district and stuff. But we took those teams and we said, okay, how many games did each team in that district win last year?
Mm-hmm.
And then we took that number and we averaged it. Mm-hmm. We did that for all 160-something districts, I think it is. That sounds right. And came up with our numbers, and we had 10 districts that we
Right.
said were the best.
Yeah.
That were the toughest. So I posted this up there, and now we can certainly have an argument as to whether or not that's an accurate measure of how difficult a district is.
We did so on this
We
very
did,
show yesterday.
for sure. There is a reasonable, and that is a conversation that I like to have.
Absolutely. We're all about conversation.
So Facebook then gets flooded with comments about how this is a dumb list because it left off my favorite team's district. It left off this district. It left off that district.
I don't know if you're aware, Greg, but that's how the internet works.
I didn't come up with it. It's all
Your name is on it.
It's all based on math. Guys.
Well,
it's based on math.
I don't have time to read the introduction to your article, Greg.
There is no.
I just look for the names on the list.
There's no
and my
subjectivity.
team wasn't on it. You ass.
There's no subjectivity to it.
You're a moron. A moran.
And so I thought, I was like, oh no, did I not explain it well enough at the beginning of the article? I went back and I read it. And I was like, no, I did. Which means that people just aren't reading the article! Read it! I'm okay criticizing work. That's fine. But read the article. How can you not do that? How can you criticize something before you freaking read it? Use your eyes, use your brain. Read it. It's explained right there for you.
This is our concern, dude.
So that's one thing. And I promise we'll never get into politics here because politics are stupid. But Donald Trump ripped the Pope this morning.
Well, I mean.
And people are
sometimes
going
you
to
gotta-
vote for this dude.
Yeah, no, but why?
Donald Trump ripped the Pope.
Well, the Pope's a religious leader. You know, not everyone agrees with.
It's the Pope!
So what? The Pope's not without fault.
Oh, my God. I don't want to live in this world anymore. I don't, guys.
It's been a rough morning for
It's
old
just
Greg.
been a really bad morning, and I don't want to live in this world anymore.
I'm sorry, Greg.
And then there was all sorts of stuff yesterday about just terrible articles getting published.
Yep.
I'm like, my life force has been sucked out of me, Max.
But
It's all
can
out
I,
of me.
Can
It's
I,
just
can I steer your attention in
I
a more
don't-
positive direction? Can I do
if
it?
there's a thesis statement that I'm trying to get across, it's that I don't want to live in this world anymore. We are DCTF Live. We are here every weekday at noon, whether we want to be or not.
Pitchers and
Talking
catchers
football.
report, Greg.
Talking football in the state of
Pitchers
Texas.
and catchers report. Does that make you feel any better? Just a little
Not
bit?
at all.
Wow.
Not at all. That's how much the life force has been sucked out of me.
This is. Should we just cancel the show?
Oh my
Cancel the
God.
show?
Oh God. Okay. Let's move on. Let's get to football. Follow us on Twitter. I guess. I don't know. What's even the point? So, we mentioned this yesterday. That we God, I've got to hit the reset button. Okay. Here we go.
You can do it.
In 3, 2, 1. So yesterday we talked about UIL appeals, and we
Yes.
talked about how there are a number of pretty high-profile teams
Absolutely.
that are appealing their district placement in the most recent UIL realignment. And one thing we mentioned yesterday is that the success rate of these appeals
Not good.
tends to be pretty low.
Pretty terrible.
And I'm not talking like 1 out of every 3. I'm talking like 1 out of every 20,
Yeah.
generally speaking, because a lot of things have to go right.
Yeah.
You have to get every team in your district that you were placed in to agree, yes, you can leave this district. You have to get every team in the district you want to go to agree that yes, you can come into our district.
A lot of moving parts.
So if you're team A and you are in District 1, which has 8 teams, including you, and you want to move to District 2, which has 8 teams,
Yep.
You have to get 17 schools to agree to it.
It's a lot of schools.
And here's the thing, that the schools that when they say yes or no, they don't have to give a reason.
Right.
They don't have to say, "Oh, well, we have this really we have a real problem with it because we just think that the travel or such that." They don't have to give a reason. They can just say, "Nope."
Sorry.
And it's over. So the odds are inherently against anybody who is trying to change districts. Beyond that, then, let's say you get those 17 schools or whatever to agree. The UIL can spike it.
Yeah.
The UIL can say, nope, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
And now the UIL will go through a lot more thoughtful process and say, oh, well, we're not doing it because of this, or this.
Sure.
But overall, the UIL does have that right to spike it.
Yeah.
So there is this field of landmines that you have to navigate to change districts.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that always comes up with these things is the size of districts. That's something that teams that the UIL is very cognizant of, that they don't want too many teams, too few teams. Now, there are some instances where there's no way around it. Out in West Texas in 4A Division I, there are 9 schools.
It is what it is.
They have to make up 2 districts to make the math work, and so there's going to be a 4-team district. It's just going to happen.
Yeah.
Cy-Fair, okay, the Cy-Fair ISD district has 10 teams.
Yeah. These huge districts.
Cypress
are a big
Fairbanks,
part of this.
Cypress Fairbanks ISD, I believe. I don't want to speak out of turn here, but Cypress Fairbanks ISD has pretty specifically requested to be all in one district.
Right.
They're like, we know it's big, we know it's unwieldy. Same thing with Frisco. Frisco, I think, has 9. Yeah. They're eventually going to swell. It'll be interesting to see how those things go. There are those types of things.
Because there's 12 teams coming there.
It has been more than 30 years since we have seen an 11-team, or nearly 30 years since we've seen an 11-team district.
Right.
And an 11-team district, you can understand the problems with it. We'll get into those in a moment. But now we have an 11-team district.
Yeah.
As Alice and Corpus Christi Calallen have won their appeals, they were unanimously granted membership into District 35A. They are moving from District 29 or 31 to 30. No, 29 to 30.
To 30. They're now joining Carroll, King, Miller, Ray, Moody, Veterans Memorial, Flower Bluff, Gregory Portland, Tolosa Midway.
Yeah. And the reasoning behind this was that they wanted to, down there in the Corpus Christi area, in the greater Corpus Christi area, there's not a whole lot of schools of the 5A size.
No.
And so they wanted to, the district they got put in with, there's basically, I hate to call out one school, but this basically comes down to one school.
Right.
It's Eagle Pass Win. Eagle Pass Win, if you're by your computer and you don't know where Eagle Pass is, go and just get on Google Maps and Google it, and you'll see. And now tell me how close that is to Corpus Christi. Because I'll tell you how much, because I got Google Maps up. 200 miles.
Pretty close.
200 miles.
Pretty close.
And Alice ain't a whole lot closer.
No.
Alice is probably, I don't want to Google it here, but Alice is probably 180 miles.
Yeah, Alice is, honestly, Calallen is less surprising than Alice. I'm surprised Alice got granted into that district just because Alice isn't really that close to Corpus Christi.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Let's see. I can do that. Alice to Corpus Christi is I mean, it's 35 miles. It's 30 miles.
I guess it's closer than I thought.
It is.
Yeah.
It's closer than you thought, but at the same time, it's not close.
No.
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 So they said, hey, we don't want to do all this crazy travel to Eagle Pass. And it's important to remember that even though we're a football show and we think Texas high school football is the most important thing in the world.
Ish.
Other
than the Pope, apparently.
That this doesn't have to do just with football. That means that you are getting on a bus and driving to Eagle Pass for basketball, for volleyball, for baseball, for swimming. I mean, you have to go and all these different...
By the way, if the baseball guy may interject,
sure.
Holy cow, that baseball district is going to be
amazing
nightmare.
Sure. So the UIL grants the appeal. So Alice and Corpus Christi Calallen are now in District 30. And that creates an 11-team district, which is a blessing and a curse. Obviously, Cal Allen and Alice weighed these factors when they agreed to do this, when they said, okay, we want to move to 35A. But this now means that from the jump, game 1,
it all counts.
In August.
Yep.
August 27th, whatever the date is.
Better hit the ground running.
That is a game that matters to get into the playoffs.
Yep.
And with an 11-team district and only 4 teams making the playoffs, I mean, talk about the math. So that first game, you better be a well-oiled machine.
Yep. You better be ready to go.
And I think that you're going to see a lot of different you're going to see a very interesting shift here in that teams in the early going, as we know, often look a lot different than they look in a late going.
Yeah.
Teams in week 1
Yeah.
and week 11 sometimes don't even look like the same team.
Right.
So who can come out of the gate early and get 1 or 2 wins early? Maybe you have a team that is, let's say, so this is not going out on a limb here. Cal Allen's a really good team.
Yeah.
With a really good coach or a really good program. Okay.
Yeah.
They're probably going to be one of the front runners in this district.
Yeah.
I haven't really gone through and figured out exactly who they have coming back, but let's just say that for the moment. But Cal Allen, like every other program in the state, takes a little bit of time to get going. Week 1 and week 11 are a lot different teams.
Yeah.
So what if you are this team on the bubble? You're a team that is kind of, you're thinking, okay, well, we might finish 5th, 6th. If things break right, we can finish 4th.
Yeah.
And you draw Cal Allen early. All of a sudden, that is a huge advantage to you because you're not catching them when they're hitting their stride.
Much rather catch the big teams at the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds crazy that you want the tough teams in your district in the early going.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if things lighten up on the back end,
right,
that's a trade you make. A lot of interesting moving parts here with this new District 35A with 11 teams in it. Right off the jump, every game matters. And I bet that, I mean, obviously, I think my personal opinion, I totally understand and I get why Alice and Colin did this because that is an outrageous travel thing when you've got a bunch of teams right down the road. But there is definitely a trade-off. This is not this, this is a time for Cal Allen and Alice to go, all right, that's good. Well, it's not the best thing in the world. There's a new set of challenges that you come up with.
Yeah.
But that will be very, very interesting. Beyond that, I believe, let me pull this up, but I believe that what is the status of District 29 now? Because they are now losing 2 teams in Alice and Cal Allen. I believe they're going to be stuck with 6, maybe? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, they'll have 2. They have 6. They're a 6-team district. Eagle Pass, Wynn, Floresville, San Antonio, Harlandale, San Antonio, McCollum, San Antonio, Southside, and Uvalde. Those are the 6 teams that now comprise District 29 5A. Like I said, it's been about 30 years since we've seen an 11-team district. So very interesting to see how this will all work out, and it'll be one of the more interesting teams or districts to kind of predict and prognosticate.
It'll be fun to watch
once that time rolls around. We are DCTF Live. We are here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. So we got 2 different. No, we got the same soccer game on here at the DCTF office. It is going to be a fun day tomorrow. Off-topic Friday tomorrow. If you've got a topic you want us to discuss for Off-topic Friday, get in touch with us. Hashtag DCTF Live. Tweet it to us. Email it to us. However you want to get in touch with us. Get it to us. We will discuss your off-topic stupid questions tomorrow. So one of the coaching changes that went on a little bit earlier, about a month ago, happened in West Texas. And I think that there's this idea for a lot of people who live maybe in big cities, San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, to think of West Texas as this one big place. It's not. It is very diverse, very, very different cities. And one guy who is moving from the Lubbock area down home to Odessa is the new head coach of the Odessa Broncos. We are so pleased to be joined on the phone by Coach Danny Servance. Coach, congratulations on your new gig.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I guess you obviously have roots there in Odessa, but for you, when you were approached with the idea of moving from Lubbock Estacado to Odessa, what made the job at Odessa so appealing?
Well, like you said, for one, it's the opportunity to go back home. Odessa's home for me, born and raised here, but also the opportunity to be at a 6A program and to try and lead young men at a very high.
As you can tell, it's a little windy out there in West Texas. You were there at Estacado for 8 seasons, a guy who had great success with the Matadors. Now you move in to Odessa. Can you tell us a little bit about the difference between coaching in Lubbock and coaching in Odessa?
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of similarities, really. Mm-hmm. Probably more similarities than differences. They both love football, and, I think growing up here, I had an opportunity to really live football here in Odessa, and I think that's probably the biggest difference is really the fan support. People in Odessa are crazy about football, and they love Friday night football and the things that come with putting a quality football team on the field.
You are in an interesting situation now where you played at Permian. You won a title at Permian as a player in 1984. Of course, Permian, this behemoth out there, it's known around the world as this program. And then here's Odessa, and now you're coaching across town. So I'm interested in how you're feeling about coaching what was, I imagine, one of your more bitter rivals when you were playing.
Well, I won't say bitter. It was a rivalry. It was a rivalry when I was a player. But, since playing, there's a lot of roles that I played here in the community. I ran the Boys and Girls Club when I graduated from Baylor and, supported kids in the community in general. So it wasn't just kids that went to Permian or kids who went to Odessa High. I'm still a fanatic for all kids. And, I tell people all the time that coaching isn't something that I do, that it's a calling. And so I know that I'm in the right place doing the right thing at the right time.
We're talking with Danny Servance, and new head coach of the Odessa Broncos here on DCTF Live. Get involved with the conversation at #DCTF Live. Coach, one of the interesting kind of side notes in your resume is that you haven't always been a football guy. You coached basketball there at Permian for a number of years. For you, what can you gain from coaching football or coaching basketball that you can bring into football?
Well, I think probably the most important thing is, as well as being the head football coach, I'm also the campus athletic coordinator. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the component that I took to Lubbock Estacado, where they won state championship in basketball. And our baseball team there made an appearance in the state tournament, and our track teams also had success there. I think just being the head coach of another sport in general, it just gives you a different outlook on the importance of every sport in a high school and just how that contributes to the success of your football team.
So far, you've been out there you got hired in late January. You've been there about a month. What are your impressions of your team so far in the program that you're taking over?
Well, I'm most impressed with the way the kids are working. They're really buying into, what we have to offer as a coaching staff. And, that's been the most impressive thing is how they've really accepted me. Like you said, with all the hoopla about, me and being a Permian coach and graduating from Permian and playing there. I think they already know that I have their best interest at heart and that I want what's best for them and that we come here to try and establish, a great tradition and rebuild some of the success that they've had in the past.
Of course, one of the things that high school football fans across the state have always been interested in, and are especially interested this time of year, UIL Realignment. And you guys get dropped into District 2 6A, along with Amarillo, Tascosa, Midland Lee, Permian, of course, San Angelo Central, and Wolford Friendship. When UIL, obviously the little Southwest Conference, as it's known out there, pretty well known and pretty well settled beforehand. But when UIL Realignment came out, what are your impressions of your new district?
Well, I think it's tough. I think whenever you look at West Texas and you look at the different conferences across West Texas, this has to be one of the most competitive conferences or districts that you ever, want to play or you ever want to see. It's been that way for a long time. And I think with San Angelo Central, Friendship, and Tascosa rounding the district out, I mean, it's going to be even a more competitive district because all of those coaches do great jobs at those schools, and they have great programs.
We're talking with Danny Servance, the head coach of the Odessa Broncos here on DCTF Live. Get involved in the conversation at #DCTF Live. Coach, one last question before we let you go. We know that there's a lot of Broncos fans out there who are watching. We're very excited about you taking over the program. What can you tell those fans about what kind of football they can expect from your team?
Well, whenever I, take over a program, the thing that I can go in and assure people of is that they'll see a very competitive Odessa High Bronco football team. Our kids will work extremely hard. They'll have a never say die or never quit attitude about them, and they're going to have great character, and they're going to be fun to watch. Those are the things that we're going to try to implement here, and like I said, I think our kids are buying in already.
He is the new head Bronco out there in Odessa. He is Danny Servance. Coach, congratulations on the new gig. Best of luck the rest of the way, and I'm sure we'll be talking pretty soon.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys having me on.
There he goes, Danny Servance, the head coach of the Odessa Broncos here on DCTF Live. The beginning of that phone call could not have been more of a perfect snapshot of West Texas, right?
Let me get out of the wind first.
Hey,
and
can
then
you guys
we'll
hold?
talk.
Can you guys hold on a second? Can you guys hold on for a second?
Yeah.
That's it was literally perfect. It was kind of thing where I was like, oh man, this phone call, like, oh man, like is he in a bad area? And then it kind of clicked on me. It's like, no, he's not in a bad area. He's in Odessa.
Yeah, that's
like,
just,
what do you?
It's just windy.
He could
it
be
just
standing
is.
right outside his office, and it would be like that.
That's all it was. And he clearly walked right inside, shut the door. Oh, we're good.
and it was just fine. Odessa's a program that is trying to find its way back. It's a program that has at times over the past 10 years been a real force, but has been so inconsistent. If he can come in and just instill some consistency, exactly.
Yeah.
So from year to year, what they're doing, even if that just means they're competing for that third spot or something like that.
Absolutely.
That would be an improvement because they've just been so up and down the past few years that I think that Broncos fans are probably most excited about just getting a guy in who can stabilize things, who can get things kind of put together in that kind of regard. So thank you so much to Danny Servance of Odessa for joining us. Tomorrow, Max.
Oh. Do you have news?
It's Off Topic Friday.
Oh, what is Off Topic Friday?
No, I don't have news. There was somebody I was going to talk to. Oh, yeah, I know who I'm going to email.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you'd already heard back from him.
No, I haven't.
Okay, that's fine.
Or
we can be excited about Off Topic Friday.
Or
That's fine.
her.
You missed Off Topic Friday.
I did miss Off Topic Friday, but I listened to the podcast, and boy, I really am the glue that holds this thing together.
Yep. No question there.
So, if you have a stupid question for Off Topic Friday, tweet it to us.
And we know you do.
#DCTF Live. If you have a dumb question you want to get to us on Off Topic Friday, we'll discuss your questions tomorrow. They can be about football. They can not be about football.
Mm-hmm.
They can be about how much you hate to read the intros to stories that I write. So,
I'm looking forward to questions like that.
Anyway. I don't know, man.
I think you need a nap.
I really need a nap.
Just take a nap.
I need to go home.
It's all right. We'll shut this down. You'll take a nap.
I'm not sick or anything. Like,
no, but you need a nap.
I'm just cranky.
Follow
us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Vince Young, please come get your Player of the Year trophy. And we will see you tomorrow on DCTF Live.